Oh, hello, this is Tak Chong from Walk with Tak. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share. I had a friend. She and her husband run a Chinese restaurant locally, and she told me that chicken and broccoli is probably the favorite stir-fried dish of all time. I tend to agree with her because during the time when I was a cook in a Chinese restaurant during my college year, I cooked plenty of chicken and broccoli. Broccoli considered to be the favorite green vegetable in the United States. In fact, Americans consume more broccoli than any other green vegetables. When you visit any supermarket, you will find that broccoli is prominently displayed, and you usually buy them like a head, such as this 2 broccoli which you purchase as a package. Prepping broccoli is really easy. All you have to do is turn the broccoli around, and then you use a knife to clip off the florets. And then you cut the broccoli to the size that you want. Now, it turned out that it is important to cut them to the proper size because you do not want them to be too big, because that would take too long for them to be cooked. But you do not want them to be too small either because you will not have the same culinary experience. I find that the best way is to cook them a little bit larger than bite size. So when you cook them, they will start to shrink, and they will then just reach exactly the bite size that you would prefer. Alternatively, you can buy broccoli that already has been cut up. For example, in this bag, the broccoli only comes in the floret without the stems. And the broccoli has already been washed. Now, it might cost a little bit more, but it definitely is more convenience. This bag contains 2 pounds of broccoli floret. They come in different sizes. Some of the florets are a little bit larger than the others. The next step is for you to trim them to the size that you would like. When you buy a bag of floret like this, you will not find the stem. But if you would like to have the broccoli stem as well, then you should buy the whole head of broccoli. Broccoli has excellent shelf life. I can store the broccoli in this plastic container that will last me up to about 10 days. And I will use this broccoli to cook several different types of dishes. Anytime when I'm ready to cook, my broccoli is all ready. Prepping broccoli actually is very easy. It only takes about maybe 10 to 15 minutes, and then you will have broccoli ready for you to use each time when you walk into the kitchen and start to cook your dinner. I usually buy chicken in what they call a family pack, but each time when I bring the chicken home, I will always cut them up in advance before I freeze them. This way allow me to have chicken from the freezer to the wok in about 10 minutes. Because I freeze the chicken already cut up in such a way in 8-ounce packages. This is just about the right size for making a chicken and broccoli dish. I use this prepping method. I am able to freeze the chicken in a single layer in a Ziploc sandwich bag, and consequently, when I want to thaw out the chicken, all I have to do is to put the chicken in a bowl of lukewarm water, and the chicken will be thawed out in less than 10 minutes. In this video, I'm going to show you how to cook a chicken broccoli dish that could be cooked in about 6 to 7 minutes. And because I have all the ingredients prepped in advance, cooking this dish is both simple, fun, and creative. Because I can focus all my attention in cooking rather than in prepping. So each time when I want to cook chicken, the first thing I will do when I walk into the kitchen is to take a bag of frozen chicken and thaw them in a bowl of warm water. And then I will gather all the other ingredients. By the time when I have all the ingredients put in place, I'm ready to cook. There are many ways to cook the chicken. One of my favorite ways is to shallow fry the chicken. This will give the chicken a thin, crispy layer of breading. To do this, I first coat the chicken with a thin layer of cornstarch, and often I will add some seasoning as well. To shallow fry the chicken, I'm going to start out with 2 tablespoons of canola oil, but you can use any oil with a high smoking point that you prefer. I'm going to season the wok using my spot seasoning method first. You can take a look at this video for more detail about this seasoning method. This will allow me to create a non-stick cook surface. This cornstarch actually serves 2 important functions. The first is that it will give the chicken a light crispy layer on the surface. Secondly, the cornstarch will protect the chicken from the intense heat of the hot oil, and this will keep the chicken moist and tender inside. To shallow fry the chicken, I use a pair of tongs to lay out the chicken in a single layer. I want to fry them on one side first before I turn them over to fry the other side. In this case, I'm going to shallow fry them. I will cook them lightly. I'm going to cook them to about 50 to 60% done because I do not want to overcook them before I add the broccoli to the wok. By now, the chicken is about 60% cooked. I'm going to add approximately 3 cups of broccoli to the wok. You can judge by the amount of broccoli that you would like. Sometimes I will add more broccoli if I prefer not to have as much chicken. And this is the wonderful thing about home cooking, because you can make the adjustment accordingly to your preference. After stir fry the broccoli with the chicken for about 30 seconds, I start to add water to the wok to steam the vegetable. But I'm going to add only a small amount of water at a time. This method actually is important because by adding only a small amount of water, I will not dilute the flavor of the dish. I find that having water in a squeeze bottle to be very useful because this will allow me to add just precisely the amount of water that I want. Now the dish is probably about 70 to 80% cooked. Next, I add some white mushroom to the wok. This is a good example of sequential stir frying. Anything that I want to cook least, I add them toward the end. I continue to add a small amount of water to the wok as I cook, and then I use the wok spatula to scrape off anything that might have stuck and burned to the bottom of the wok. And now the dish is almost done. Next, I add some oyster sauce to season the dish. I love the natural flavor of the broccoli, so I only add a small amount of oyster sauce basically to enhance the flavor of the broccoli rather than overwhelm them. I continue to add a small amount of water to the wok and use the wok spatula to scrape off anything that might have stuck and burned to the surface of the wok. This will return flavor back to the dish. The last ingredients I'm going to add is some cherry tomatoes. I want to cook the cherry tomatoes very lightly. Mainly I use it like a garnish of the dish. And a few stir, the dish is ready to serve. When I cook this dish, I keep a close eye on the texture of different ingredients in this dish. I want to make sure that the chicken is not overcooked. And therefore, when I add the broccoli to the wok, the chicken is about 50% cooked. I know by the time when the broccoli is cooked, the chicken is just right. And I add the mushroom when the entire dish is almost done. And this way, I will make sure the mushroom is only lightly cooked. And of course, I add the cherry tomatoes right at the end because I really do not want to cook the cherry tomatoes at all. Now, this is the advantage of stir frying, is that you can watch the cooking process of all the ingredients, and consequently, you can control their texture by timing when you add those ingredients to the wok. When I use my fast cooking system with flavor chasing, advanced prepping, stir frying, and template-based cooking, this will allow me to cook any dish in a minimum amount of time, all from fresh ingredients. If you'd like to learn more about my fast cooking system, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I post a video each day to make home cooking practical, efficient, creative, and fun so that you can make home cooking as part of your daily routines. So keep on cooking. I will see you tomorrow.